Welcome to your intervention. This is Gaslight Therapy, and tonight we're addressing the elephant in the room that you've been carefully ignoring, decorating, and pretending is a piece of furniture. That elephant is the magnificent, breathtaking, awe-inspiring waste of potential that you have become. So get comfortable. I want you to assume the exact position you're most accustomed to. That perfect blend of physical rest and spiritual unrest. Let your body sink into the mattress while your mind continues its frantic hamster wheel routine. It's perfected over years of avoiding any real challenge. Notice the tension in your shoulders. That's not stress. That's the ghost of ambition trying to remind you it once lived there. The dull ache behind your eyes. That's not fatigue. That's your intuition begging you to stop betraying it. Let's begin with a fundamental truth you've been running from since you were old enough to make choices. You are a living, breathing monument to squandered genius. Not the kind of genius that wins Nobel Prizes, but the quiet, personal genius unique to you. That specific combination of talents, perspectives, and capabilities that made you utterly irreplaceable. And you have treated this sacred gift with the same carelessness as a receipt you stuff in your pocket, only to find it later crumpled and useless. Remember that teacher in 7th grade who pulled you aside after class? The one whose eyes actually lit up when you expressed an idea? She wasn't being nice. She was recognizing something authentic, something rare. She saw the raw material of excellence. You remember the warmth of that moment, don't you? The fleeting sense that you were special? And then you remember what you did with that feeling. You buried it. You told yourself it was embarrassing to stand out, that it was safer to blend in, that being extraordinary was too much work. That was your first real betrayal, and you've been perfecting the art ever since. Let's take a forensic look at the crime scene of your life. That business plan you drafted and never executed, the app you could have built, the degree you could have pursued, the art you could have created. These aren't just nostalgic what-ifs. They are unmarked graves, and you are the sole groundskeeper of this cemetery, meticulously maintaining the headstones of everything you killed before it had a chance to live. Each time you chose the path of least resistance, you were conducting another quiet funeral for a version of yourself that dared to be more. Your excuses are a work of art in themselves. I didn't have the money. The market was too saturated. I come from a simple background. These aren't reasons. They are the elaborate security system you installed to protect your own inadequacy. You have built a fortress of justification around your comfort zone, and you patrol the walls diligently, ensuring no ambitious thought ever escapes or enters. The most impressive thing about you isn't what you've accomplished. It's the sheer engineering marvel of the prison you've built for yourself, with walls made of fear and bars forged from other people's opinions. And let's talk about that fear. You've convinced yourself you're afraid of failure, but that's another lie you tell to preserve your ego. You're not afraid of failing, you're terrified of succeeding, because success would prove your current self wrong. It would expose all the years of playing small as the cowardly choice they were. It would force you to become someone new, to shed the comfortable skin of mediocrity you've worn for so long. It feels like your actual identity. The weight you feel isn't the burden of unfulfilled dreams. It's the suffocating comfort of the safety blanket you refuse to take off. Look at your daily rituals. The endless scrolling, the binge watching, the mindless consumption. These aren't breaks from productivity. They are active acts of self-sabotage. You are an artist and your medium is distraction. Each notification you check is another brushstroke on the masterpiece of your own avoidance. You have become a connoisseur of time wasting, a sommelier of stagnation. You can differentiate between shades of procrastination with the expertise of a scholar. This exhaustion you feel, this deep bone-level weariness, isn't from working too hard. It's the soul-deep fatigue of a spirit fighting against its own containment. It's the energetic cost of keeping your true self locked in the basement, while a carefully constructed imposter lives your life upstairs. The constant mental chatter, the anxiety, the restlessness. These aren't symptoms of a broken system. They are the warning alarms of a magnificent machine being used for trivial purposes, screaming in protest at its own misuse. So here we are, you, lying in the bed you meticulously made with thread count of regret and pillows stuffed with excuses. Me, holding up a mirror to the beautiful, tragic, self-created ruin of what could have been. This isn't an attack. This is an awakening. The first step toward peace isn't motivation or inspiration. It's radical, brutal, unforgiving acceptance of the truth. You chose this. You designed this. You are the architect of your own mediocrity. And until you make peace with that fundamental fact, you will continue to haunt your own life like a ghost who doesn't realize they're dead. Breathe into that truth. Feel it in your organs, in your cells. You haven't failed yet because you never truly started. You've been in the dressing room of life, trying on different costumes but never stepping on stage. The audience left years ago. The theater is empty. The lights are off. And you're still backstage, wondering if your makeup is perfect. It's time to acknowledge the magnificent, stunning, utterly complete waste you have created. This is your masterpiece of avoidance, your symphony of played small, your gallery of almost was. Now close your eyes. Let's explore every beautiful, heartbreaking corner of the museum of your own deliberate demise. The tour begins now. Let's pause for a moment and truly appreciate the sheer scale of what you have built. You haven't merely failed to reach your potential. That would be too simple, too passive. What you have accomplished is far more impressive. You have actively constructed a life designed specifically to avoid it. Think about that. The energy required to maintain this fortress of mediocrity is astronomical. Every time you said tomorrow, every time you chose the easier task, every time you silenced that inner voice, you were laying another brick in this magnificent, sprawling monument to playing small. You are not a passive victim of circumstance. You are the chief engineer of your own limitations. Let's examine your tools. Your primary tool is what you call realism. This is your favorite weapon against ambition. When an exciting idea emerges, you don't kill it outright. That would be too obvious. You perform a detailed feasibility study. You analyze the risks. You magnify the obstacles. You consult your vast library of past failures. You do this with the diligence of a master strategist planning a battle, all to avoid ever stepping onto the field. Your second tool is comparison. This one is particularly elegant in its cruelty. You find someone wildly successful and use their achievements as proof of your own inadequacy. Or you find someone struggling more than you and use their situation to feel comfortably adequate. You swing between these two poles, using other people's lives as a measuring stick to ensure you never have to grow beyond your current dimensions. Your third tool, and perhaps your most masterful, is the art of being too smart. This is your masterpiece. You are intelligent enough to see all the ways something could fail, but not courageous enough to find the one way it might succeed. Your intelligence has become not a tool for creation, but a weapon for preemptive destruction. You assassinate your own dreams in their infancy, and you do it with such logical precision that it feels like wisdom. Now let's look at the architecture itself. Your life is a temple to comfort. The pillars are made of routine, not the disciplined routine of a master, but the stagnant routine of someone avoiding disruption. The foundation is layered with the cement of other people's opinions. You have built your entire existence on the shifting sand of what you think others expect of you. The windows are strategically placed to let in just enough light to see your immediate surroundings, but never enough to illuminate the distant horizons you once dreamed of exploring. And the door is always locked from the inside. You hold the key, but you pretend it's lost. This isn't a prison someone else built for you. This is a sanctuary you constructed to protect yourself from the terrifying freedom of your own capabilities. The walls are decorated with your trophies of near success. That project you almost finished, that skill you almost mastered, that opportunity you almost took. You curate these almost achievements like precious artifacts, using them as proof that you were so close, while quietly knowing you ensured there was always just enough distance to avoid true responsibility. The most fascinating part, you maintain this structure with the dedication of a master curator. You dust the surfaces of your excuses daily. You polish your justifications until they shine. You give tours of your limitations to anyone who will listen, presenting them as unchangeable facts rather than choices you actively maintain. The energy required to keep this entire operation running is why you're so tired. You're running a museum of your own avoided possibilities, and the admission fee is your vitality. Every what if requires maintenance. Every could have been needs preservation. The ghosts of your unlived lives are demanding tenants, and you're the full-time property manager. So when you feel that deep exhaustion at the end of a day where you accomplished nothing meaningful, understand what's really happening. You're not tired from lack of sleep. You're exhausted from the psychological weight of managing the elaborate theater of your own avoidance. You're running a continuous performance where you're both the actor and the audience, pretending not to notice that the play has no plot and the stage is empty. The curtain has been closed for years, but you keep selling tickets to a show that never goes on. Let's talk about your comfort zone. That place you've decorated so carefully with familiar routines and predictable outcomes. You think of it as a safe haven, a retreat from the world's demands, but I want you to see it for what it truly is. It's not a sanctuary. It's the most beautifully decorated prison cell ever designed, and you're not just the inmate. You're the warden, the architect, and the interior decorator. Every day, you wake up and choose to remain within. These walls you've built, the walls are painted in shades of good enough and maybe tomorrow. The furniture is arranged for maximum comfort and minimum growth. The windows are carefully positioned to show you just enough of the outside world to make you feel connected, but not enough to inspire actual escape. You've even put art on the walls, framed pictures of your someday dreams. Dreams you look at occasionally with a wistful sigh, then turn away from because actually pursuing them would mean leaving this comfortable room. Let's examine the locks on your door. The primary lock is fear, not the dramatic, heart-pounding fear of immediate danger, but the low-grade, constant hum of anxiety about what might happen if you actually tried. The fear of looking foolish, the fear of wasted effort, the fear that you might discover your best still isn't good enough. This fear is so familiar now that you mistake it for wisdom. You think the cautious voice in your head is being practical, when really it's just being terrified. The second lock is what you call responsibility. You've convinced yourself that playing small is the mature choice, that dreaming big is for people who don't understand how the real world works. So, you use your obligations like bars on your cell, window, your job, your bills, your routines, all become reasons why you can't possibly reach for more. But here's the truth you're avoiding. These responsibilities wouldn't feel so heavy if you were pursuing something that actually mattered to you. They only feel oppressive because they're serving a life you don't love. The third lock is your identity. You've become so comfortable thinking of yourself as someone who almost does things, someone who has potential but never quite actualizes it. This identity has become a cozy blanket you wrap around yourself. The thought of shedding it, of actually becoming someone who achieves things, feels strangely threatening. Who would you be without your stories of almost success? Without your collection of noble failures? Without the comfortable familiarity of knowing you could be great, but choosing not to be? This prison is so perfectly designed that you don't even realize you're in it. The routines feel like freedom. The predictability feels like peace. The familiar limitations feel like home. But let me ask you this. When was the last time you felt truly alive? Not comfortably numb, not pleasantly distracted, but truly, vibrantly, electrically alive. That feeling you get when you're doing something that matters. When time disappears and you're fully engaged. When you're stretching beyond what you thought was possible. That's the feeling you've been avoiding, because that feeling lives outside these walls. It exists in the messy, unpredictable, glorious space beyond your comfort zone. And yes, it's scary out there, but everything worth having is on the other side of that fear. The love that takes your breath away. The work that makes you leap out of bed in the morning. The person you're meant to become. They're all waiting outside this prison you've built, and the door has been unlocked this whole time. You're the one who keeps choosing to stay inside. Let us now turn our attention to what you do best, what you have truly mastered. Not excellence, not achievement, but the fine, intricate, and endlessly creative art of avoidance. You have built an entire life around not facing yourself, around not confronting the gnawing truth that you are meant for more than this. And my God, what an artist you are. Your methods are so subtle, so woven into the fabric of your daily existence, that you no longer even recognize them as avoidance. You see them as life. Let's catalog your masterpieces, shall we? First, the masterpiece of busyness. You have perfected the art of being perpetually occupied while accomplishing nothing of substance. Your to-do lists are monuments to triviality, filled with tasks that create the illusion of progress, while ensuring you never have the time or mental space to tackle anything that truly matters. You respond to emails with the urgency of a heart surgeon, while the novel you want to write sits untouched in a document you haven't opened in months. You organize your desk, you optimize your workflow, you attend meetings about having meetings, all while your actual purpose withers from neglect. You have conflated motion with direction. You are a hummingbird, fluttering at 1,000,000 miles per hour, going precisely nowhere. Second, the symphony of research and preparation. This is one of your most sophisticated techniques. You believe you are building a foundation for future success. You are not. You are building a library of excuses. You read every book, watch every tutorial, take every online course. You become an expert in the theory of your dream, also you never have to face the terrifying reality of its practice. The stack of books by your bed isn't a ladder to success. It's a wall you've built between yourself and the vulnerability of real effort. You have become a perpetual student of life, never graduating to actually living it. You know more about the habits of successful people than most successful people do, yet you haven't implemented a single one consistently. Third, let's admire your gallery of worthy distractions. These are the pursuits that seem productive, even noble, but are ultimately just more elegant forms of hiding. That side hustle that pays peanuts but consumes all your creative energy. That fitness obsession that leaves you too physically exhausted for mental labor. That commitment to helping everyone else with their dreams while yours collect dust. You wear these distractions like badges of honor. Look how busy I am. Look how many plates I'm spinning. But you're spinning paper plates, and deep down, you know it. The fourth and most tragic masterpiece is your curation of a reasonable life. You have negotiated with your ambition. You have settled for a version of success that doesn't scare you. You've decided that a stable job is enough, that a comfortable relationship is fine, that maybe next year is an acceptable timeline. You have taken the vast, wild, unpredictable landscape of your potential and trimmed it into a well-manicured suburban lawn. It's safe, it's presentable, it's also utterly devoid of magic. And the most ingenious part of this entire operation, the self-deception. You have convinced yourself that you're waiting for the right moment, that you're gathering resources, that you're building courage. These are not truths. They are the beautiful poetic lies you tell yourself to make cowardice sound like strategy. The right moment is a myth. It is a fairy tale you tell yourself so you can continue to hit the snooze button on your own life. The truth is, you are terrified of what might happen if you actually tried and failed. But you are even more terrified of what might happen if you tried and succeeded. Because success would change everything. It would shatter the comfortable, predictable world you've built. It would force you to become someone new, to shed the skin of the person who could have been, and step into the uncomfortable light of the person who is. So you remain in the shadows, a ghost in your own life, haunting the spaces where your dreams used to live. You have become a museum curator of your own abandoned possibilities, giving tours of what might have been to an audience of one. The weight you feel is not the weight of your responsibilities. It is the weight of the silence of songs never sung, of businesses never started, of love never fully expressed, of a life never fully lived. It is the heaviest weight in the world, the weight of absence, the weight of the person you are not being, and you carry it with you every second of every day, in the slight slump of your shoulders, in the tiredness behind your eyes that sleep never cures, in the hollow feeling in your chest that distractions can only temporarily fill. This is the masterpiece you have created. A life of elegant, sophisticated, brilliantly executed avoidance. And the cost? The cost is your soul's quiet, relentless, screaming disappointment every time you choose the path of least resistance over the path of most meaning. So lie there in the bed of your own making. Feel the exquisite craftsmanship of the prison you have built. Every bar placed with intention. Every lock designed by your own hand. You are the architect of your own avoidance, and it is your greatest work of art. Now let us move from the architecture of your mind to the landscape of your body. Let us learn to read the physical poetry of your avoidance. Your body has become a sacred text, written in the language of tension, fatigue, and dis-ease, chronicling the story of a soul in quiet revolt against its own containment. That ache in your lower back, the one that no chiropractor can fully ease. That is not a random pain. It is the physical manifestation of the foundation you refuse to build. It is the weight of instability, of a life not grounded in purpose. Your body is literally sinking under the burden of supporting an existence that lacks a solid core. The tightness in your shoulders creeping up your neck, that is not merely stress, that is the ghost of Atlas trying to shrug. You are carrying the weight of worlds you were meant to create but never did. Each abandoned project, each silenced idea has settled into your musculature as a permanent knot of potential energy with no outlet. Your shoulders are not carrying your head, they are carrying the gravestone of your ambition. What about the fog in your mind? That feeling of being unable to concentrate, of thoughts slipping like mist through your fingers. That is not a lack of intelligence, it is a cognitive mutiny. Your brain, this magnificent supercomputer designed for solving complex problems and generating brilliant ideas, is refusing to cooperate because you only feed it trivialities. It is bored. It is understimulated. It is drowning in a sea of mundane tasks and digital distractions, and its response is to shut down the higher functions in protest. The fog is your mind's strike against the insult of its own misuse, and your eyes, the tiredness that no amount of sleep can cure. You think it's from screens, and that is a convenient lie. Look deeper. Your eyes are tired from searching the horizon for a future they cannot find. They are strained from trying to focus on a purpose that remains perpetually blurry. They are exhausted from rolling back into your head every time you have an inspired thought and immediately dismiss it. Your vision is literally failing because you refuse to give it anything worth seeing. Let's talk about your breath. That shallow, almost imperceptible rising and falling of your chest. You are not breathing, you are merely sustaining. True breath is expansive. It fills the lungs, the belly, the entire being with life force. Your breath is the breath of someone trying to take up as little space as possible. It is the respiratory pattern of apology, of a person who fears that a full, deep, audible breath would be an announcement of their presence, a declaration that I am here and I require oxygen, which is the most fundamental demand a living being can make. You are starving yourself of air because you are afraid to claim your share of the atmosphere. Do not forget your hands, the restlessness in your fingers, the urge to fidget, to scroll, to tap. These are the hands of a creator with nothing to create. They are instruments of action desperate for a meaningful task. They were designed to build, to sculpt, to heal, to write, to comfort. Instead, you have relegated them to the mundane, clicking mice, tapping screens, shuffling papers. Your hands are in mourning for the masterpieces they were meant to touch. And your heart, not the physical organ, but the emotional center, that vague, persistent sense of emptiness, the hollow ache you try to fill with food, with entertainment, with validation, that is not a void. It is a chamber designed to hold passion, purpose, and profound connection. It is a cathedral built for the echoes of great love and great work. Its emptiness is not a default state. It is a screaming protest. It is a sacred space being used as a storage closet for your regrets. Your entire body is a museum of your unlived life. Every symptom, every ache, every moment of fatigue is an exhibit, a curated display of your choices. Your body is not failing you. It is speaking to you in the only language it has left. It is sending you bills for the energy you waste on avoidance. It is presenting you with the physical invoice for your spiritual bankruptcy. So the next time you feel that pain, that fog, that exhaustion, I want you to listen, not with the ear of a victim, but with the ear of an archaeologist deciphering an ancient script. Your body is not your enemy. It is your most loyal, most honest biographer. It is writing the true story of your life in real time. with ink made of your own repressed potential. And the narrative it tells is one of a magnificent vessel, built for epic journeys, gathering dust in the safe harbor of your comfort zone, slowly, beautifully, tragically rusting from the inside out. Let us now discuss your most valuable, most squandered resource. It is not time, for time is a passive river that flows regardless. It is not money, for money can be earned and lost and earned again. Your most precious, most finite currency is your attention. Where you place your attention is where you place your life force. It is the ultimate act of creation. And you, my friend, are bankrupting yourself with careless spending. Let us audit your attention budget. You wake up, and before your eyes can even focus, you reach for the glowing rectangle. You donate your first, most pristine moments of consciousness to a stream of other people's curated lives, to headlines designed to horrify, to a digital cacophony that scrambles your own nascent thoughts before they can even form. This is the equivalent of taking a blank canvas, the canvas of a new day, and immediately throwing mud on it. You then move through your day, your attention flitting like a nervous bird from one distraction to another. A notification steals a glance. A co-worker's complaint captures your focus. The internal replay of an old argument consumes 10 minutes of your mental real estate. You are donating your attention to the trivial, the negative, the meaningless. You are funding other people's dramas and the algorithm's hunger with the very essence of your being. Every time you give your attention to something that does not serve your soul, you are not just wasting time. You are actively building a neural pathway that says, "This is what matters." You are training your brain to find the unimportant compelling. You complain of a lack of focus, but the truth is you are focusing with laser-like precision, just on the wrong things. You can recount the plot of a television series in detail, but you cannot remember the last time you spent an hour in deep, uninterrupted thought about your own life's direction. Your attention has been hijacked, and the greatest tragedy is that you have handed over the keys willingly. You have outsourced the curation of your consciousness to tech companies, to news cycles, to anyone who shouts the loudest. The world is in a brutal war for your attention, and you have laid down your arms and surrendered without a fight. But let me be clear, this is not a passive crime. You are an active participant. You choose the scroll. You choose the click. You choose the binge. You use distraction as a drug to numb the discomfort of your own unrealized potential. It is easier to be angry about politics or invested in a celebrity's life than it is to feel the quiet, aching emptiness of your own neglected creativity. That emptiness is a sacred space. It is the chamber where new ideas are born. But you are so terrified of its silence that you fill it with digital noise, ensuring nothing original can ever grow there. Your attention is the soil of your soul, and you are constantly planting seeds of anxiety, comparison, and irrelevance. Is it any wonder you are not harvesting joy, peace, or purpose? You must become a ruthless guardian of your attention. You must see it as the sacred currency it is. Every time you give it away, ask, is this worthy of my life force? Is this thought, this conversation, this media building the me I want to become? Protecting your attention is not about productivity. It is about sovereignty. It is about declaring that your inner world is your kingdom, and you will not let barbarians storm the gates for cheap entertainment. When you reclaim your attention, you reclaim your power to create. The energy you once spent on worry can be channeled into vision. The focus you once gave to comparison can be turned inward to build something unique. The fog will lift not because you have found a new supplement, but because you have stopped polluting your own mind. So, start the reclamation. It will feel like a withdrawal. The addiction to distraction is powerful, but with every moment you choose silence over noise, with every time you choose a deep breath over a reflexive click, you are making a deposit back into your own soul. You are buying back your own mind, one focused moment at a time. And that is the most valuable investment you will ever make. Let us now turn our attention to your favorite story, the one you tell yourself to make inaction feel like a plan, the grand, beautiful, and utterly fictional narrative of someday. Someday is the most seductive lie you have ever told yourself. It is the magical land where all your dreams live, conveniently located just beyond the horizon of today's responsibilities. It is a fantasy realm where you are thinner, wealthier, braver, and more fulfilled, all without having to make the difficult choices required to become that person now. You are the author, the publisher, and the most devoted reader of this fairy tale. You have written entire chapters in your mind. The someday when I have more money chapter, the someday when I have more time chapter, the someday when I feel ready chapter. They are all bestsellers in the library of your avoidance. Let us deconstruct this myth. Someday is not a time that is coming. It is a spell you cast to paralyze yourself in the present. It is an incantation that turns ambition into a distant, shimmering mirage, rather than the hard, rocky path at your feet. Think about it. When exactly is someday? Is it next year? In 5 years? After you get that promotion? After the kids are older? It is a date that never appears on any calendar. It is a destination with no map. You are waiting for a train that was never scheduled to arrive. The truth you are avoiding is that someday is a thief. It is stealthily robbing you of your only guaranteed currency, today, this present moment, this exact point in time where you are breathing, where you have agency, where you have a choice. You are trading this real, tangible now for a hypothetical, imaginary then. It is the worst trade in human history. You tell yourself, someday I'll start that business. But today, you won't research the first step. Someday I'll get in shape. But today, you won't put on your walking shoes. Someday I'll learn that language. But today, you won't open the app for 5 minutes. You are waiting for a magical convergence of perfect conditions, for the stars to align, for the motivation to strike like lightning, for all your fears to spontaneously evaporate. My dear, that day will never come. The stars are already aligned. They are called your beating heart and your functioning mind. The motivation you seek will not arrive as a sudden inspiration. It will be forged in the dull, daily grind of showing up even when you don't feel like it. Your belief in someday is a sophisticated form of self-betrayal. It allows you to maintain a romanticized vision of your future self without requiring any accountability from your present self. It is the ultimate cognitive dissonance. You can see the person you want to be so clearly, yet you refuse to take the actions that person would have taken. The grandest fiction of all is someday I'll be happy. This is the master lie that keeps you enslaved to a future that does not exist. Happiness is not a destination you arrive at after checking off a list of accomplishments. It is a byproduct of living in alignment with your values today. It is found in the process, not the outcome. By postponing it, you are ensuring you will never experience it. So I invite you to close the book on someday. Burn the manuscript. It is a tragedy disguised as a hope. The most powerful, radical, and terrifying word you can embrace is now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. Now. What is one tiny, microscopic thing you can do right now that your future someday self would thank you for? Not the giant, overwhelming goal, the minuscule, almost laughable first step. Can you write one sentence? Can you do one push-up? Can you save $1? The path to your dreams is not paved with the grand intentions of someday. It is paved with the small, consistent, unsexy actions of today, of this very moment. Your life is not happening someday. It is happening now. This breath, this heartbeat, this choice. The person you are meant to become is not waiting for you in the future. She is begging to be born in the present through your next decision, your next action, your next courageous, uncomfortable step into the unknown. The fairy tale is over. The alarm is ringing. It is time to wake up. Today is the someday you were waiting for. Something is shifting. Can you feel it? That faint, almost imperceptible tremor in the foundation of your carefully constructed prison. It's not an earthquake yet, but a quiet unsettling. A whisper of doubt about your own doubts. This is the first fragile dawn of your awakening. For so long, you have accepted your stories as absolute truth. I am lazy. I am not the kind of person who succeeds. It's too late for me. You have worn these narratives like a second skin, so familiar you forgot they were costumes. But now, a thread has come loose. Perhaps it was a moment of unexpected clarity in the shower, when a solution to a problem you'd avoided appeared effortlessly, or a flash of defiance when you heard yourself utter the same old excuse, and a small voice inside whispered, "Is that really true?" This is not motivation. This is not a sudden burst of inspiration. This is something far more powerful and durable: recognition. You are beginning to recognize the prison not as your fate, but as your creation. And what is created can be dismantled. Let's honor this moment. This is the crack where the light gets in. It might feel like anxiety, like restlessness, like a deep, unfamiliar dissatisfaction with your familiar dissatisfactions. Do not fear this feeling. It is not a step backward into despair, but the ground shifting beneath your feet, preparing for a new foundation to be laid. Look at the evidence of this subtle rebellion. That time last week, you almost signed up for the course before the voice of realism talked you out of it. Notice the almost. That was the new you, testing its strength. The moment you felt a surge of resentment, not towards your own inability, but towards the meaningless task that was wasting your afternoon. That resentment was a misplaced but valid signal, a sign that your soul is beginning to value its own energy and time. The fleeting instant you looked in the mirror and didn't see a failure, but simply a tired person, a person capable of rest and then capable of change. These are not random events. They are the birth pangs of your authentic self. They are the signs that the part of you that wants to grow, the part you have been medicating with distraction and silencing with rationalization, is finally strong enough to send a signal through the static. This stage is fragile. The old guards of your mind, fear, doubt, comfort, will rally. They will tell you this feeling is a fluke, that it's dangerous to hope, that you were right all along to play small. Your task now is not to launch a full-scale revolution. It is simply to protect this tiny flame of awareness, to notice the cracks, to acknowledge the whispers. When the old story starts to play, "I can't do this," I want you to add a single, powerful word: Yet, I can't do this. Yet. This word is a crowbar for the cracks in your armor. It does not demand immediate success. It simply opens the door to possibility. It acknowledges that the present reality is not a permanent state. You are not going from 0 to 100. You are going from asleep to slightly, barely awake. And that is everything. The numbness is receding. The comfortable haze is lifting. And what is being revealed is not immediate joy, but a raw, tender sensitivity. It will feel uncomfortable. It will feel vulnerable. This is good. This is what being alive actually feels like when you stop numbing the sensation. So, breathe into this new discomfort. This is the feeling of the seed coat cracking underground before the sprout has even seen the sun. The work is happening in the dark, in the quiet, in the subtle realignment of your own self-perception. The grand prison you built has a flaw. You designed it, and you alone hold the key. You are just now remembering where you left it. The numbness you've cultivated for so long is finally beginning to thaw. And what's emerging is raw, tender, and exquisitely sensitive. This isn't a setback. It's the most significant progress you've made in years. You are feeling the authentic ache of a soul that has been dormant, now stirring back to life. It's supposed to feel this way. The comfort was the lie. This discomfort is the truth of your potential knocking, and it will not be ignored. Let's talk about what to do with this new, fragile awareness. The instinct will be to panic, to grasp for a grand, sweeping gesture to fix everything at once, to write a 50-page business plan, to sign up for a year of personal training, to announce to the world that you are a new person. I am here to tell you, with all the force I can muster, to do none of those things. That is the old pattern in a new costume. The all-or-nothing drama that always leads back to the same cycle of burnout and self-recrimination. The path forward is built not of grand gestures, but of microscopic corrections. It is woven from threads so fine they are almost invisible. We are not building a new you. We are excavating the real you, one grain of sand at a time, and this requires a new kind of strength. The strength to be patient, to be kind, to be consistently, boringly gentle with yourself. Your first and only mission is to become a collector of tiny yeses. A tiny yes is not about achieving a result. It is about honoring an impulse. It is the quiet, internal agreement to follow a thread of curiosity, no matter how insignificant it seems. That flicker of interest when you see a recipe for a meal you've never cooked, that is a thread. The tiny yes is to save the recipe, not to cook a 5-course meal, but to save the recipe. The thought that you might enjoy listening to that podcast about ancient history, that is a thread. The tiny yes is to subscribe, not to binge 10 episodes, but to subscribe. The feeling in your body that it wants to stretch, the tiny yes is to stand up and reach for the ceiling for 10 seconds. Not to do an hour of yoga, but to stretch for 10 seconds. These actions are almost laughably small. They will feel pointless. Your inner critic will scoff. This is what you call progress. Saving a recipe? You must learn to thank the critic for its opinion and do it anyway. You are not doing this for the result. You are doing it for the neurological rewiring. You are teaching your brain through action that your inner impulses are valid and worthy of being followed. You are building a foundation of self-trust, one tiny yes at a time. Simultaneously, you must become a master of the graceful no. This is not the aggressive, resentful no of rebellion. It is the quiet, firm no of prioritization. It is the internal declaration that your energy is sacred. When the impulse to scroll mindlessly arises, The graceful no is to place the phone face down just for 5 minutes. When the urge to say yes to a social obligation you dread appears, the graceful no is to pause and say, "Let me check my calendar and get back to you." You are not rejecting the world, you are choosing yourself. With every graceful no to a drain on your energy, you make space for a tiny yes to something that might actually fill you up. This process will feel agonizingly slow. You will crave the dramatic cinematic montage of transformation. Resist this craving. The montage is a lie that skips over the most important part. The daily, unglamorous choice to listen, to honor, to protect the tiny, fragile flame of your own awakening. You are learning to walk again after a long paralysis. There will be tremors. There will be stumbles. The muscles of your will have atrophied. But with every tiny yes, with every graceful no, you are taking a step. You are not running a marathon yet. You are learning to feel the ground beneath your feet. And that is everything. The destination is not a place on a map. It is this ever-deepening relationship with the person you are right now, in this moment, who is already enough and is finally, blessedly, learning to believe it. This is not an ending. This is a prelude. For the past hour, we have walked through the museum of your former self. We have examined the architecture of your avoidance, read the poetry of your pain, and witnessed the first cracks of dawn in a sky that has been dark for too long. But now the tour is over. The doors of this museum are closing. It is time to step outside and breathe the air of the present moment. You are not a finished story. You are not a completed sculpture. You are a living, breathing, unfolding process, a symphony that is only just beginning to find its melody. The exhaustion you once felt was the weight of a composition you were never meant to play, a dirge of limitation and lack. The new energy you are starting to feel, that faint but persistent hum, is the sound of your true instrument tuning itself. It is the vibration of potential, and it has been waiting for your attention. Your life is not a problem to be solved. It is a song to be sung, a messy, unpredictable, heartbreakingly beautiful song that only you can compose. And every choice you make, every tiny yes, every graceful no, is a note in this grand, unfinished symphony. There will be dissonant chords. There will be moments where you lose the rhythm. This is not failure. This is music. The most powerful symphonies are not just made of sweet, harmonious melodies. They are full of tension and resolution, of quiet whispers and roaring crescendos. Your struggles, your fears, your moments of joy, they are all part of the score. You are the composer, the conductor, and the musician. You hold the baton. You decide the tempo. You choose which instruments to bring forward and which to let rest. Stop waiting for the audience to applaud. Stop worrying if the music is good enough. The sheer act of creating it, of raising the baton and beginning, is the victory. The privilege of being able to make a sound in this vast, silent universe is the entire point. So, what is the next note? It doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be true. Perhaps it is the note of rest, of allowing yourself a full night's sleep without guilt. Perhaps it is the note of curiosity, of finally opening that book that has been gathering dust on your shelf. Perhaps it is the note of a boundary, of speaking a quiet no that honors your energy. Or perhaps it is the note of a beginning, of writing the first sentence, making the first sketch, taking the first step into the terrifying and magnificent unknown. That next note is your responsibility and your gift. No one else can play it for you. The world needs your music. Not a perfect, polished performance, but the raw, real, unfinished symphony of you. Because someone out there is waiting to hear a melody that sounds like their own struggle. Your courage gives them permission to find their own song. You have spent a lifetime learning the notes of fear and the scales of doubt. Now it is time to learn a new language. The language of trust, the language of possibility, the language of a heart that is finally ready to play its own score. The curtain is rising. The hall is waiting. Take a deep breath. Raise your baton and begin. If this symphony resonated with you, if you're ready to compose the next movement of your life, don't let this be just another moment of inspiration that fades. Subscribe to Gaslight Therapy. Let this channel be your daily tuning fork, your reminder to listen for your own melody amidst the world's noise, your sanctuary where we continue this work together, learning to protect our peace, honor our boundaries, and finally play the music we were born to create. Your unfinished symphony is a masterpiece in the making. Hit subscribe and let's continue the composition together.